Okay, Alex, so obviously we've been working with you for coming up to 5 months now, I think it is. Um, and we've been focusing on growing your revenue through Google Ads and SEO management.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, it'd be great if you could start off just explaining a bit about who you are, what you do as a company.
Yep, so we predominantly sell rigid packaging, so mainly plastics. We have recently ventured into glass, so it's the type of things that you put cleaning products in. We'll work with a variety of industries such as automotive, food. We're obviously trying to reach more into the personal care sector, which you guys are helping us with. We also sell the closures and trigger spray heads and all of that jazz to go with it, basically. So we cover quite a broad spectrum. Our customer base is quite wide. We're predominantly B2B, so we don't actually deal with the end users. We don't operate as an e-commerce platform either. So obviously our website and all the digital side of things is predominantly lead based, and then those leads get passed to the sales team. So we can't obviously capture ROI and stuff through e-commerce, so it's a bit more difficult. But yeah.
Good, good. And what's your experience been like working with Avanti so far?
Good. So we prior to working with you guys, we outsourced everything. So my role here was kind of just the gap between Cambrian and whatever agency we were working with at the time. We decided to move things in house. We still decided to sort of outsource the digital side of things as we felt like we needed the expertise there. So it was a bit of a learning curve because obviously trying to manage in house with external can be a bit of a struggle, but you guys have made the process quite easy. I think you kind of took the time to understand our processes and how we work. And obviously, previously, because we did everything externally, we kind of just went with what we were told instead of actually having a lot of input ourselves. Um, but I think you guys kind of have helped us find that balance of utilizing your knowledge but also achieving what we want to achieve instead of just getting the quick wins that you often do get where an agency will identify something, just say, oh, go for this because you'll get great return on investment on it, but then also it's not actually helping us achieve what we want to achieve. But you guys have helped us find the balance with that, which is really good.
Good, good, good to hear. And how have we compared with previous agencies you've worked with?
Hmm. So I think, yeah, the big thing for me has kind of, not to discredit other agencies that we've worked with or anything, but we kind of would put an idea forward and you guys will instruct us best on how to incorporate our digital strategy into that. So, for example, we've obviously got a focus on personal care, which yourself and Josh have come back with lots of different things that we can do in terms of our ads and the blog content and things like that, which is great, alongside the sort of maintaining our rankings and all the other things, maintaining that as well as working with what we're trying to achieve. Whereas previously it was kind of because we didn't really have much of an idea of what we wanted to do, it was kind of just go with the flow on what they thought was best and just focus on that instead of growing the areas in which we needed to grow. And I also think the dashboards that you guys have set up is really useful in terms of just keeping everything in one place, firstly, but also the live reporting and all that kind of thing helps us have a constant idea of what's going on as opposed to just having a PDF at the end of every month that's got sort of static information. We can also just refer back to it, which makes everything a little bit easier as well.
Hmm. Good. And yeah, you kind of covered some of this, but what has Avanti offered which other you haven't previously been able to get from other agencies?
Yeah, I think obviously the live tracking and reporting isn't something we've had before. We had monthly sort of meetings like we do, but it was kind of just this is what's happened this month, on to the next month, as opposed to being able to go back and compare and things like that. And I think as well, um, the speed of any sort of inquiries that we have, you always come back to us really quickly. You always, any suggestions that you give to us are kind of always backed up with your knowledge and expertise anyway, so it makes it a little bit easier for us to sort of understand. There's not so much sort of jargon that we don't understand. You kind of make it easy for us to interpret what you're trying to say and how that's going to impact on our strategy overall, which is really useful. But I'd say, yeah, probably the dashboard is one of the most useful things that I've experienced, especially. It just keeps everything in one place. It's easy to track everything. Yeah, it's really useful.
Hmm. Good. And obviously reporting the sales from leads as well. Is that you find that?
Yeah, so we would previous reports were kind of based on conversions which were classified as obviously a form fill or a phone or an email click or also a download a spec sheet, which was kind of a bit of a grey area because obviously it could be us downloading spec sheets or the same person downloading the same spec sheet, so it wasn't really like an accurate kind of factor to be reporting on. Whereas I think the seeing the because obviously from a marketing side the quotes coming in is most important, how we operate. That'll be our marketing sort of metric, if you like. We get them in, and then if they get converted, then that's up to sales. So I think having the quote and sales split up is really useful because, and how we operate, it might take a year for a quote to convert, it might take a week. So having that metric as well is really useful to see, which isn't really something, obviously, we can see it on our own internal system, but being able to link that with the digital side of things to show where they've actually come from helps us add value to it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, no, 100%. Um, actually tracking the return on the marketing rather than
And
yeah,
solely on sales, yeah, it's kind
yeah,
of it makes it a lot easier, and also like makes other departments appreciate what we do.
exactly, yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, over the years, have you ever been able to track the return on?
Not as easily because obviously it's kind of difficult with a bit like what we were speaking about before actually, and in my email where we'll have existing customers that might actually just go to the website and fill out a form instead of speaking directly to us. So it's kind of hard to capture that because it's like, where has that lead? Where do we assign that revenue to? Is it to a sales rep? Is it to marketing? Because it's kind of a combination of both. And because we don't operate as an e-commerce shop, we can't say today we've made X amount of money because it doesn't work like that. It's kind of the sole purpose of the website for us is to get leads coming in, and then to actually quantify those is quite a difficult process. But I think because you guys have integrated your tracking with our CRM system, it's kind of made it's given as much visibility as we possibly can on it, essentially, which we haven't really had before.
Yeah, yeah, good stuff. And yeah, do you want to talk us through a bit about the returns you've had?
Yeah, so it's been 5-ish months now, I think we said, isn't it? Yeah, so it's
Mhm.
been consistent growth, especially with the leads coming in. In August, there was 43K, I think, from a 3K ad spend, which is insane, actually.
Mm.
We've never really seen it sort of like quantified and written down like that, so that's obviously really good to see and
Yeah,
could actually result in being more as time goes on because obviously some other quotes might convert, which is really good. But yeah, being able, and that's another thing on the sort of dashboard, being able to see that in real time is really useful too. Obviously, it sort of puts value behind all the digital side of things. I think a lot of people kind of don't understand all the areas of marketing, so having that literal return on investment written down is kind of makes it all worthwhile, if you like.
yeah, 100%. Yeah, 100%. It's what um, every company struggles to track, and
Yeah, I
that's
think if you kind of operate, you literally just sell to an end user or something like that, or you have a Shopify website where you can literally see your whole sales for the month, how much your product's costed, and you have that literally there. It's fine, but in a B2B environment, it's really difficult to actually capture that accurately. So
mm, yeah, good. I think what might be helpful, I'll quickly share my screen just to show since we started tracking. So as we can see here, this is a year-to-date report showing spend against quote opportunities and closed opportunities from the campaigns. And we can see the spend each month of this year. This was obviously before working with you. And then with obviously no trackable um, return here. And then since partnering with you and implementing our system, you can now see the quoted opportunities here and sales directly from the Google Ad campaigns. And obviously, the total cost here is total cost year to date. So a lot of the spend wouldn't be managed, wasn't managed by ourselves. Um, Wasted spend, we would we would say. But the total quotes and sales were from um, June here, where we started with you guys. So as you can see, we continued spending um, around 3k, but we can see here the quoted value was 25k in June, and then moving on to July, again spending similar amount with an increase here, and we can see the sales here, and then moving to August, again similar spend, um, but again growing month on month with the quoted value here, and also the sales value here. So you can see with our total spend of just over 3,000, um, and we can see the sales here, which was directly from the campaigns. So as you can see, excellent result here in August. And then in September, you can see almost nearly doubling in quoted value here. And again, with only the spend of just over 3,000. So we've kept consistent with the spend, and we've had growth month on month, which is excellent to see. As you can see, like August, these quoted opportunities will soon convert over the next month or so, and hopefully bring um, a even higher return, especially with how much we have in the quoted pipeline right now.
I think it's useful as well because how we worked with a previous agency was it was all done quite manually. So all of the leads would be put into a spreadsheet, and then the sales team here would receive that spreadsheet and they would then have to qualify them. And it might be the case that at the time it was a qualified lead, but it hadn't converted to anything. And then it kind of just got left. So if that did convert, we didn't actually factor that in anywhere. Whereas because you guys are constantly monitoring it and obviously you have the dashboard and stuff, when something does eventually convert, it will still be picked up. So
Mhm.
it doesn't fall through the net, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's good. Okay, good. Well, it's helpful you sharing your experience and how we've been supporting you. So yeah, really appreciate what you shared.
No
Thank
problem.
you.